Hello, Sewist friends. I'm so glad you came back because guess what? It's Tuesday again. And I promised you that I would come back, didn't I? And you know I keep my promise because guess what? Because we're friends. Anyway, it's a Tuesday and I want to talk to you about finding the seam allowance on your brother 1034d Serger. Do you know how to do that? I know that it can be very, very difficult to get the right seam allowance if you don't even know where to measure from. Well, guess what? I'm here to help. And as a bonus, I'm going to show you an easy way to remove those serge seams when they are getting on your last nerve. Okay? I'm Nye with Ellie and Mac. Come on, let's go. I have my 1034d Serger, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to find the seam allowances on your machine. It's actually quite easy. Even though it's not technically marked with numbers, it is marked with notches. And I'm going to show you a close-up so you can see where those notches are. So when measuring your seam allowance with your brother 1034d, all you have to do is look on the door. You'll see 4 markings. And from left to right, you'll have 3/8, 1/2. The very thickest one will be 5/8, and the last one will be 1 inch. So now you know what those markings mean. Basically, the fabric is measured from the outer left needle into the notches. Because the outer left needle is about as far as your fabric can go, and you're not sewing anymore. So basically, and don't be hurt. No machines were harmed in the writing of that little note there. This is dry erase and it comes right off. Anyway, if you wanted to double check, you can use one of these. This is the Seams Right tool by Nancy Zeman. It has measurements for 1 inch, 5/8, 3/8, 1/2 inch. It has a buttonhole measurer so you can place your buttonholes and buttons properly. I love this thing. I'll actually leave a link for the video review of this item, and there are several other items for measuring that you might actually want to try if you haven't seen that video yet. Okay, you actually just hold this up to where your outer left needle is, and it will show you which notch is which. Or you can do like some people do, it's not cheating, and just mark them. So if you mark it, then you know that first one is going to be your 3/8 if that's something that you use regularly. Ellie and Mac patterns primarily have a 1/4 inch seam allowance, noted here. However, if you're buying patterns in the store, their seam allowances are going to be a little bit different. They're likely to be 5/8. So if you sew those more likely, you can just put a little dot on the 5/8 mark and go on about your business, Nancy. Sometimes we just want confirmation that the seam allowance that we see on the machine is exactly what we're getting. And it sometimes can seem like it's a little bit more than what we think it is. So I brought a little bit of French terry, this cute little camouflage French terry from Millie Mae. And I'm gonna go ahead and serge a seam for you. But first, before I serge it, I'm gonna measure it because I don't trust people. Just kidding, no. I'm gonna measure it to show you that it actually is the measurement that the machine says. And mainly this is because I'm also going to teach you how to take this apart. Yes, girl. Because let's talk about how many times we serge something and then we have to turn around and take that out. Listen, a serged hem is no fun to take out. And there are actually 2 ways that I can show you to take it out. So I'm going to show you how I do it. You can see I have it here. I'm going to go ahead and run that through. Can somebody get my differential right now? I need to fix my differential and actually a couple of my left and right needles as well.
But that's neither here nor there. Stop judging me.
But this is the serge seam. See? Okay. And then if you will look, this is what came off. And when you put that line on the 3/8, you put your fabric, you line it up to the 3/8, and you get exactly a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Isn't that perfect? I love it. You have a seam left, Nancy, and I'm gonna teach you how to take that seam out and not spend all day. But first, before I teach you how to take that seam out, I want to make a really important note. Remember, after you have serged your fabric, that seam allowance is gone. It's like toothpaste. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. You can't do it. You could try. I'd love to watch you try, but you can't do it. For that, once you remove your threads and you have to reserge it, I would recommend that you disengage your knives so that you don't go ahead and cut that seam allowance off again. Okay, now I have a serged seam, and you can see that we have a left needle, right needle, and the loopers marked for you. The loopers look like little Y's on both sides of the fabric, and the left and right needles are both straight stitches. So what you want to do is you want to get your seam ripper and you want to find your center stitch, which is going to be your right needle stitch. Find one of the loops there in the center and pull it up from the fabric. If you have a long seam, you may have to snip these along the way because you're not going to be able to get that thread all the way out on the first pull if it's a very long seam. So you just kind of pull the loop up and out of the fabric and then go on to the next section and pull it out there, and you just carry on until you're done with the entire seam, and then you move on to the next step. Now the next step would be to find the left needle stitches and pull those out. Now be careful because sometimes when we're looking for the left needle stitch, we might catch a looper instead. So you want to look carefully. Look at that. All those loopers are left. They're so pretty. That's my little poly wool. So what you want to do is get the left needle stitch there at the base of that looper. You'll see where the left needle stitch is, right there in the center. That's why I use a seam ripper, because it's very easy to get to it. So then you want to grab that and pull it out. Just like that. See how easy that was? You want to pull that out and just pull it all the way out, and then see what magic happens. Now you can see once you remove the left needle, there's just loopers left and they just fall right out. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. I love it. Next, we'll go ahead and show you how I do it when I cut the thread. So basically what I do is I take a pair of scissors or a seam ripper and I go through those loopers and I just cut them. I just cut all of them because at that point your stitches don't have anything to hold on to, so you know they just kind of can pull out much easier. Now I'm going to speed this up because this process takes a little bit longer than the other. Okay, now you can see I'm doing the process with my seam ripper and just trying to be really careful because it's sharp, not to pierce my fabric or put holes in it. Because remember, I don't have a seam allowance left anymore, so I really have to preserve the edge of that fabric, and it's very, very difficult if I'm not careful. Now that I'm done cutting those loopers, I can go ahead and pull the left and right needle threads out. The finished product can be a little messy because there's little floofies left after you pull out the threads, but it works just the same. Yay! And that's it. So, there you go. Today we learned how to figure out the seam allowance on our brother 1034d, and I also gave you a couple of my secrets on how to take out one of those serged seams. So, listen, if you like what I'm doing here and you appreciate all these videos that I make just to hang out with you so we can be friends, go ahead and subscribe, like, comment, hit that notification bell. Let's be real.
You just come here to have a good time.
So do I. So do I. Make sure that you come back next week because I'm going to be here Tuesday, every Tuesday. And I promise, because we're friends, I will keep that promise to you. Now, make sure that you have a glorious week. I hope that you are staying warm, feeling just as toasty as you want to feel. But while you're doing that, make sure you